Hi, Wire Woman. This is Rosana Berardi, and I'm here today with a really special guest, Dr. Brandon Mancuso. Brandon has changed my back for the better and my health for the better, so I thought he'd be a perfect guest to have on so we can learn more about reinventing ourselves after this crazy COVID crisis. So, Brandon, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Rosanna.
Tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. Well, on the business side, you mentioned I'm a doctor of chiropractic, so that's where my background is. And I'm a part owner of Train Smart Personal Fitness. And we are a fitness gym that specializes in helping people get out of pain and really helping them get fit for life. And personally, I am a husband and a father to, I have my daughter's gonna be 2 in September. And so I can relate to those who are working at home with a child, and I've been through those challenges.
Yeah, certainly not an easy time to be working from home, especially with a
No.
little one under tow. So tell me about your business and what happened in March of 2020. All of our businesses have been turned upside down with little notice. So your business is very person-centric. You're with people all the time. You're training them. Tell us about what you were doing prior to March and what you're doing now.
Yeah, so the type of training we specialize in is we have really two types of clients right now, pre this COVID, and we have private clients that are one-on-one, and then we have small group, which is semi-private, where there's 4 people training at the same time. Now we had to shut our doors, and that first week we had to scramble. And it's kind of funny. We've talked for over a year about we should do some stuff online training.
Mm-hmm.
But so it came to us quickly to say, hey, we need to start doing online training. And we were kind of thrown in the fire, and our clients who may have been skeptical to try it were, kind of more open to trying it in these circumstances. So we got comfortable with Zoom. That was the platform we started using. We contacted all of our clients, and we have about a third that have stayed on. And at least we said to everybody, just try it. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it. And most people found that they really liked it. And we've heard comment after comment of, well, I don't have to shower,
Yeah.
I can shower at home. I don't have to shower at the gym.
Right.
It saves me time. I don't have to travel. And so a lot of clients have really kind of put their foot down. They said, listen, when things go back to normal, can we still do the online training? So we've been doing still the same 2 products, but now we just do them through Zoom. And I can separate my screen. So I see each person. I have 4 people on my screen, and I can coach and, say, hey, Rosanna, you're doing a good job here, but, make sure you kind of tilt your hips back, and I can make all the coaching cues virtually and still see everything going on.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, nobody really thought that doing everything virtually would be ideal, but it saves so much time in terms of driving back and forth, one less place to be. My son takes drum lessons, and he's been doing them virtually on Zoom, and it's great. And now the teacher said we can go back, and I'm like, oh, it's one more place I have to go. We might just stay on virtually. It's just so much easier. So in terms of this virtual platform, do you think it's here to stay? I mean, even eventually when the doors reopen, do you think a lot of your marketing efforts will be focused on that?
Yeah. What simply said, absolutely. We are already kind of thinking of that next step is, and I've planned out when we open the doors, we're going to have more of a hybrid type product where we will have clients. Well, basically, you can say there's a 6 o'clock live where people can come in and exercise and get coached on their program. But then in between, there's also going to be the opportunity to train at home too. And still, what I think it's going to be nice is a transition and have a buffer between, so there's less traffic in the gym. So it'll probably be people here, online training session, coaching, and then people coming in again. And so we plan to definitely keep up with the online stuff in the future. And we've even talked about doing some business to business stuff and reaching out to some companies who have employees who are at home, who are sitting and it's even more important for them to make sure that they're staying active.
Yeah, it's really a great concept and a platform, because we read so many of these articles that say, working from home may be here to stay. Companies are realizing they don't need the large offices that they have, and it would be a great, great tool for employers to offer to their employees who are at home to say, hey, from 8 to 9, we're going to do a movement class wherever, and you can really do some team building, even though you're not in the same place. So I think it's a great idea. So my story with Brandon and Train Smart is that I'm a middle-aged person that sits all the time. I have some lower back issues. And I trained with a few other trainers prior to meeting Brandon. And the differentiator with Train Smart is the knowledge component. Brandon is a doctor of chiropractic. You've got other PTs on your team. This is not a group of people that are just going to have you do burpees because that's the exercise of the day. So for me, with a lower back issue, this training has been pivotal in my life, because my back is 1,000% better than when we started a few months ago. And having Brandon over my shoulders watching me, I'm doing things correctly. So we all know what to do. It's just a matter of A, getting ourselves up to do it, and then B, doing it correctly. And when you have any type of issue, doing it incorrectly can compound it. So I work with Brandon one-on-one. He actually comes to my home. Just the fact that someone's ringing a doorbell saying, okay, for this hour, we're working out, for me is immeasurable. Because we always start out with the best intentions, and then the day we're like, oh, we'll do it later. And then later comes and we never do it. So I love the accountability piece, and I love the actual education that I've received of how to work my back, what to stay away from. And we keep growing. And the way that we are working out today is much different than when we started. And I feel like I couldn't do some of the things I'm doing today without you building up my back. And lower backs are such a big problem for most of us, compounded with all the sitting. And are you seeing that's like your most common issue when people come to you that are in pain?
Yeah, that is our bread and butter, is those clients who have that chronic pain. It's been going on for years, and a lot of it stems and goes back to the chair or from the time that we spend sitting. And it was I enjoyed hearing you talk, and what I've kind of picked up on when you were going through that is really we help change clients' fitness philosophies. You were talking about how it's important to do good technique, and we really want to make sure that it's not really training harder, but training smarter, and making sure that all these little things that you do frequently, the things that you're going to do when I'm not with you, if you're moving better, getting out of the chair or putting your sneakers on, those things make a big difference too. That not only, because you might have the exercises when you're with me, but you need to kind of learn some of the daily activities that you're doing, how to probably do them a little better, a little more biomechanically sound.
For sure. And I have discovered, and I have fought it tooth and nail, but the best thing for my back is moving. I feel best when I'm walking and running around, and I sit all day. And I've really learned, and I have fought it. You saw me fight it at the beginning. When you don't feel good, you just want to lay around and ice your back. But really, when I don't feel good now, I wasn't feeling great last night, threw on my sneakers, walked for 30 minutes, my back felt great. So it's these little tweaks that can really impact your life. So many people that follow High Wire Women are busy working women. We don't have time. We don't have time for anything. We always put ourselves last. So can you show us like one or two things that are really simple for us to do that don't feel like, oh, I've got to train for a 5K or a marathon, but just some simple things. I think you call them movement snacks that will help us during our days when we're really busy.
Yeah, absolutely. And your audience, whether they're mothers or wives working, you have very little time for yourself. And I want to just kind of state with these movement snacks, I love the idea of it's more about the frequency, and it could be as simple as 30 seconds, or maybe you can find that 30 seconds just to do a little bit of movement and to kind of get back to what you're working on. So I'm going to show you a couple of these movement snacks. I just want to state too, is you should feel better after these. If they're causing pain or discomfort, it might not be the right fit for you.
Okay.
But keep that in mind. The first one is going to be really simple. I'm going to show you two of them. And it's as simple as just getting out of your chair, and we're going to do some alternating overhead reaches. So I'm just going to tilt this down just a little bit.
Okay.
So I'm up. I'm just going to be standing back here. You're just going to be reaching up overhead. You're going to push your palm up towards the ceiling. You'll feel when you're doing it properly, a stretch up your side of your rib cage. And you're press your palm up like you're Spider-Man shooting a web, and then switch to the other side, shoot another web up towards the ceiling. Enjoy that stretch. Eyes follow your hand back and forth. And this is doing a lot. It's going to be doing something we call myofascial stretching. And it's opening up your rib cage that can get really stiff in that area, especially after sitting. As far as reps go, you could do maybe 10 alternating reps. It won't take you that long. And another one I really like is, and it's a popular one, but I'm going to show you maybe a different version or different way of doing it that's overlooked, is a cat camel, also called a cat cow.
Okay.
And so I'm going to show you that really quick. 2 different versions. You're going to be on your hands and your knees. Hands underneath our shoulders, knees underneath our hips. We're going to breathe through and let the breathing drive the motion back and forth. So you're going to do about 8 repetitions. You really don't get much additional benefit after doing about 8 reps, so it doesn't take much.
Okay.
But I'll just state, avoid end ranges. It should be nice and fluid, gradually moving back and forth. And a different version that I was saying is overlooked, if we might not always be in an atmosphere where we can get down on the floor and do a cat camel, but you don't need to get on the ground. You could do it on a desk or a chair. So I'm just going to slide this chair over real quick. And you can, so you're not getting on the floor, but you're still in like a hinge position, breathing through it. Kind of working your spine back and forth, nice and fluid. And so you have no excuses. You don't need any equipment, and you can get either one of those 2 in.
Yeah, and if none of you have done a cat camel, I'll tell you it's life-changing. You'll feel so much better, and it's my kind of exercise because, like Brandon said, you only need to do 8, and you don't really get much impact beyond that. So I know I sit at my desk and I'm doing emails, and I'll look up and I'm like, wow, I'm doing emails for like an hour, and really just to take a break and do a few cat camels or overhead reaches. It's simple, it's easy. You can do it a couple times a day and your body will feel so much better. And it's so impactful, these little tiny things. I mean, my philosophy of wellness and feeling better has really changed over the last year or so, because I used to think of it as this big mountain I had to climb. I had to be perfect all the time with diet and exercise, and I had to work out really hard every day. And now I've realized, as I'm getting older, that it's the little things that add up and the little tweaks. And we don't always have to be perfect. But if we can just build in some little mindful snacks of, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get up for a minute, or I'm going to take a walk. At my firm, we do a lot of walking meetings. So we'll have a staff meeting, and rather just all sitting, especially now because we're not supposed to be around the same table, we'll just walk and talk about the same things. And it just makes such a difference for you physically. So I'm always telling my team, get up, move, stand. And it's really a lot of things I learned through Train Smart. So Brandon, you can essentially work with anyone, anywhere, right? It doesn't matter. We're based in Buffalo, New York, but through the virtual platform, I mean, really the sky's your limit right now.
Yeah. And I've already worked with some, I have gotten some referrals from California. So I was, that first appointment, doing the assessment over Zoom, I thought it would be a little bit more challenging, but I acclimated to it. I'd say within that first session, I started to get pretty comfortable. And what's cool is a lot of the type of exercise we prescribe, we make your body the machine. You don't need a lot of equipment. Mm-hmm. So I think that was another thing that a lot of the clients I've been working with, they were surprised on how much they can do and how effective a workout can be without without a fully equipped gym.
Right. So if people are interested in working with you, tell us the best place to get in touch. Is it your website?
Yeah, I would say the website is a great place to start. It's trainsmartbuffalo.com. And there's links to social media, and on the contact us page, you can reach us by phone number or send us a message.
Great. So anyone around the world that's watching this, you don't need to be sitting in Buffalo, New York. think about implementing this in your life virtually. You don't have to go anywhere. People are afraid to go to gyms now because they're worried about the coronavirus. You can do this in your home. You can do it, once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, as much as you want. You won't find anyone that is as qualified as Dr. Brandon in terms of his understanding of the body and movement. I worked with some trainers in the past that, all good intentioned, well-intentioned people, but they really didn't understand the issue that I had and were actually making it worse. So this is really a smart way to train. I love that the business name reflects that. And, I can't encourage you enough. So Brandon's been a huge change in my life, an absolute joy. I feel so much better. And just an all-around good guy. We both love theater. So theater nerds unite.
This is that big week, Rosana. Hamilton
coming
on Disney.
I will be definitely writing a blog about my experience of Hamilton on Disney Plus. So stay tuned. Well, thanks, Brandon. It's been a joy having you.
You're welcome.
And if anyone has any questions, trainsmartbuffalo.com or reach out to me personally, and I can certainly make an introduction.
Thank you.
You're welcome.